Jeff, you ready?
Don't you sit in Frog's chair. I'm gonna tell him. Who's got the,
All right.
why is it not moving?
Let's call this meeting to order. Today being August the 24th, 2023, in the year of our Lord at 6 o'clock p.m. This is the Livingston Parish Council Chambers. And I'd like to get started with a call to order. So let's start off with an invocation. And Mr. Shane Mack, would you do the honors of leading us in a prayer? Tracy asked it.
Yeah, I asked for Shane to do it.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Jeff. So bow y'all's heads, please. Dear kind and most gracious Heavenly Father, we just thank you so much for this beautiful day, Father. And we just thank you for giving all of us the opportunity to wake up this morning and breathe the beautiful air that you give us to breathe, Father. And just help us to be the people that you would have us to be, Father. And we just ask tonight a special prayer, Father, for the firefighters in Louisiana and all across the country, Father. During this drought, Father, they're risking their lives to save everyone, Father. And we just ask that you be with them and you protect them and you keep everybody as safe as possible as they work hard to keep us all safe, Father. And tonight, we'd like to ask another special prayer, Father. It's the beginning of football season for the high schoolers. We ask that in this heat, this hot heat, Father, that you just be with them and just keep them hydrated, Father, and just keep them help them have good attitudes and good sportsmanship, Father, that they just play the game, Father, and just allow the best man to win. And when the game's over, shake hands and try harder next time, Father. Just be with them, be with the school system, Father, and just be with the council tonight, Father, and just help us to make the right decisions for the people of Livingston Parish, Father, so that we just help us to provide the best quality of life that we possibly can for the people that we represent and care about, Father. And in closing, Father, we just want to thank you for sending your Son, Jesus Christ, to die on the cross, so that if we so choose, that we can have the opportunity to live for eternity in heaven with you, Father. And just thank you for all you've done. Thank you for your grace and your mercy, and just forgive us of our sins, and just thank you once again for everything, Father. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
I'd like to ask someone to lead us in Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Patrick Bedwell, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tracy, you get logged in.
I'm in.
Jeff already. Jeff.
I'm in.
You get logged in. I don't know if you're already.
I'm not logged in.
Shane or whoever. Just get logged in.
All the time.
All right, let's while everybody's getting logged in on their computers, can we just do a roll call, Miss Sandy, to make sure we have a quorum here tonight?
Mr. Girlinghouse.
Here.
Mr. Wascom.
Here.
Mr. Ard.
Here.
Mr. Talbert's absent. Mr. King.
Here.
Mr. McMorris.
Here.
Mr. Mack.
Here.
Ms. Sandifer's absent, and Mr. Delat is absent.
So we have 5.
1, 2,
6.
3.
6, we have a quorum. Okay.
Thank you.
Pardon? All right, real quick, just to let everyone know, we'll have public input on items, so if a particular item comes up, please raise your hand, and I'll call you to the to the podium, and try to keep your comments, without repeating other people, and try to keep it within about 3 minutes if possible. Also, check your cell phones just to make sure there's not a whole bunch of interruptions. Being the first item, let's go ahead and take up 8 for a discussion. This was a request that elected official in the parish, Mr. Ron McMorris, I believe, had put on the agenda. So, Mr. McMorris, you want to take a few minutes and tell us what you got here, and so we can.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for letting me be here. Ron McMorris, they told me I only had 15 minutes to talk, so I only prepared a front side, not a front
Who's
back.
at 15?
So,
Jack Morris's are.
hey, we like to talk.
Yeah.
So, Ron McMorris, 28311 Southset Sumer Road. And I know that school impact fees has been a common topic here for about a year or so. And when I got elected to the school board, my area needs it just as bad as everyone else. And I want to be part of the conversation. So I heard there's been conversations going on, and we get the back end of conversations, but I haven't been part of them. So now I'm just making my own conversation. So tonight, I'm not up here to blame anybody for anything or to point fingers on anybody or to try to even come up with a solution, but to start a new conversation, because once I start one, I like to see it out to the end. This is something we've got to have. I texted my principals tonight and asked them, how many T buildings are we teaching kids in? How many students are your capacity, and how many students do you have? So last year, French Settlement had 45 students more than capacity. I know you've already heard this. We've talked to you about it. I know other people have talked to you about it, but I'm bringing it to your attention again. 45 students over capacity. They're having classes in cafeterias. Now, when I was in school, when I was in junior high, high school, might not have been so bad 30 years ago. We thought it'd been pretty cool to have class in a cafeteria maybe. We're in different times now. We're in a different time where kids need iPads, laptops, electronics. You don't have all that in cafeterias. You don't have places to plug your iPads in. Y'all asked for a school impact fee, and we presented one to y'all. This is not an arbitrary number. This is a number that we came up with that the federal government, the state of Louisiana, everyone is in common agreement that $4,500 is the minimum fee that it takes to educate a kid. So we get what's called an MFP. All right, MFP is $4,500. And then from there, we looked at, all right, each school bus, what's the average cost per kid, broke it down, average cost to feed them. And I believe we presented $7,500-ish to y'all. All right, I've heard numbers of $20,000, $10,000, $4,000. Anything that we can start with is a help. All right, this council is going to look a lot different next year. All right, but these people that are out here, they're still going to be living in Livingston Parish. They're still going to be living in their towns. And in about a year from now, when they're going to be really getting affected, the next hurricane that passes by here, the next storms, we need drainage, we need infrastructure, we need the different things to get these kids not only in the school, but to the school and back home. So, again, I appreciate your time. I know we're not going to solve anything tonight. That's not what I'm here for. But I want to let y'all know that I'm starting a new conversation, and we need to have more conversations on this topic because there are houses coming up, there are buildings coming up, and I'm not trying to stop growth. I'm not trying to stop anything from coming up here. What I'm trying to do is say, hey, look, this is something that's been created, all right? Y'all have approved several thousand homes coming up here in Livingston Parish. How can y'all help the school board as well? I don't know how you distribute your funds. I don't know how you break them up, but maybe there's something where the council could work with the school to do. One last comment that I want to make is this is not our school impact fee. This is y'all's school impact fee. We can present the numbers, but it's my understanding it's been like a back and forth. This is y'all's, this is ours. No, this is y'all's. We'll benefit from it, and we need to, but we got to have it. So I want y'all to know my cell phone number is easy to get to. Most of you, I don't think there's anybody up here that doesn't have my cell phone number. I don't know who you are, so you don't have it. But all the rest of you do. And I'm 100% eager to talk 7 days a week. My phone doesn't turn off at 5, and it doesn't turn off on Saturday and Sunday, except for church. So, I appreciate y'all being up here. Please reach out to me. Let's keep this conversation going. Thank you.
So much, Mr. McMorris.
Mr. McMorris,
Appreciate
Dr.
it.
McMorris, Dr. McMorris.
Oh,
So it is my understanding that the council was ready to approve that impact fee at the time. It was the school board, and I will approve it as soon as we get the language. I will vote for it, absolutely. But it was before you were in office. They pulled away on that. We didn't. I still believe there is a will here to do it if the school board is willing to do so. I might be wrong, but I certainly am. I'm willing to do the impact fee. But the only other thing, if I remember correctly, is the impact fee has to be in the area that the development is going in, that specific development.
Absolutely. I'm
Yeah.
100% on board with that.
Okay.
100% on board with
If I
that.
could chime in, and my name is Brad Cascio. I'm an assistant district attorney here in Livingston Parish. And back in 2021, I did a lot of research on this for the council. and I'll be more than happy to share that research with you, because I don't think it's a bad idea, but there's a lot of ways it can go wrong if it's not implemented the right way. So I think
glad
it
to
is
work with you.
something
I'll
that
give you
the
my cell
school
number
board
right
should
now if
work
you want it.
together. Yeah, look, if you want to hang tight, I'll get it from you, come over here afterwards, and I'll be
Okay,
happy to
Shane
talk
has
to
it.
you.
He can get it to you as well.
All right, next we have Mr. Mack wants to talk.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Was you finished?
No, I was finished.
I'm gonna go fast. I'm gonna try.
I
anyway.
don't think so.
It's not possible. No, I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you, Ron, and the work you do and how much you care about the school system. It shows as you communicate. It really, really does. I want to let you know that, the resolution that was presented to the Livingston Parish Council recently so that we could implement the school impact fees, we forwarded that to the attorney and we forwarded that to our planning professional that we hired, okay? And it was communicated back to me that what needs to happen here is the school board needs to work with a professional, an expert, when it comes to the justification of how much. They felt that the numbers, the way that it was justified by the school board, could be challenged in court, okay? And we don't want that. We're trying to avoid the lawsuits at this present time. So that's what needs to happen. If you could go back and take some action to maybe work with the school board and the administration over the school to maybe hire an expert, and they threw some numbers out, maybe 40 to 80,000. You could hire somebody an expert that could justify these numbers. Then we could, as a team, the people of Livingston Parish and the school board and the council could put in an ordinance and put those impact fees in place. Now, what I can tell you is that is still part of the plan. Over the next couple of years, it may be 6 months, it may be 2 years, we're going to work with this planning professional, us and the new council, to rewrite the code, basically. We're going to work on zoning first, right? And then we're going to work on development regulations, right? And that would be part of that process to put that in place in some way, shape, or form if everybody agreed after it was justified during that time. So that's kind of where we're at. We got time to work on it. I know we were trying to do it as soon as possible, but I think that's a good plan to move forward with school impact fees if the team agrees.
So if we had an expert give y'all a number, then it would be voted on pretty swiftly. Or will y'all's expert have to spend time
No.
playing with it as well?
No. Your expert would do the research and work and do his part to justify the numbers and write it for us, and then it would be easily justified in court if it was challenged later on by developers or whoever else that was having to pay it. And I think that's the way to go, man. I really do.
Okay. And just to note, I'm not up here representing the school board tonight. Dr. Ron McMorris representing myself. I just happen to be a school board member, so I don't want anybody jumping down my throat here in a few weeks.
No. But reach out to our attorney to Wood and get a plan together, and I bring that to
Shane, number, and we'll communicate. Anybody else?
Dr. Ron. Thank you so much. Oh, sure.
What expert was that told you that?
Villavasso,
You get that by email?
I don't have it in email, but
I'm asking a question here because I like to get that advice.
Moody told me the same thing. And both of them told me that. And so, there's no real reason why we shouldn't go that direction. I think it'll work out. And, I believe that that's the way we ought to go with that. I really do.
Ron, I agree with them 100%, but we got two more issues with that also. So we got the fire department's got to come along with it. And it was one more, Jeff, the drainage and stuff that has to come along with that in some areas.
So it's my understanding, this is a school impact fee. This isn't a fire
it
impact
is.
fee.
I believe we
It's
can
not-
do it just as a school impact fee.
Was that?
I think you can do that. I think it can stand alone.
We had discussed in the beginning.
Yeah.
Put it all together.
Three together.
Yeah.
And then it got to a point where we was gonna go just with the school impact fee.
And they didn't want
That's
it to
where we
be
got
just
into
school.
everybody went on their own, went on one-on-ones with people. The information didn't come back to us. So glad you're getting involved. And, I think you'll have a lot of support from the board members.
That's the only
Appreciate
way we can fix it.
Appreciate it.
Is to get the people in the area. I mean, we fixed a bunch of things.
Hey, we got to talk.
Yeah,
So-
that's right.
Thank you, Ron.
All right, thank
Appreciate
y'all.
you, man. Thanks.
Have a good day. All right, the next item is adopt the minutes of the 2023 August 10th regular meeting. Miss,
Get them emailed to y'all.
All right.
Email them
You wanna-
tonight after the meeting.
you want to just put it for the next council meeting? All right, we'll The next item is the parish president's report. Mr. Ricks could not be here today, but he called me today, and we talked at length about a couple of items that he's got on the agenda. And so he really put the time in today for me to try to help get this through, so
Don't go to it.
I'm gonna need the council's help. The first thing is
Put it in somewhere.
Childhood Hunger Awareness Proclamation. Is anyone here to speak for that? Patrick, were you here for that? Do you have the resolution? If you would, I'll just ask you to read it. If not, I'll read it, but
You gotta stand there and look pretty at least.
do you have the
let her do
proclamation
it.
with
Bring
you or
some
no?
other people up with you.
I sent it to here.
Okay, then I'll just read it, and then if anyone has any questions, we'll ask you. Whereas statistics are that 1 in 5 children in the United States goes to school hungry, and whereas 35% of households in Denham Springs live on $35,000 or less annually, and whereas the statistics like these moved a prayer group of moms praying for their children, friends, teachers, and mentors to turn their thoughts and prayers to ways they could help children and families in their community, and whereas in 2010, these moms founded Mighty Moms, a nonprofit organization on a mission to see every child in Livingston Parish graduate with a full mind and a full tummy, and whereas the Full Tummy program started in 2010 to provide weekend meals and snacks to children who may not always have food at home, whereas in 2022, Mighty Moms started its newest program, Feeding Young Minds, to not only reach children but impact their families as well. This program provides monthly families meal kit boxes that feed the minds, bodies, and family culture of food insecure children in Livingston Parish. And whereas today this 501c3 organization continues to provide food and hygiene for children in our community through programs like these above, as well as the food pantry. Now, therefore, I, late Ricks, Livingston Parish President, in recognition of the commitment, faith, and love of Mighty Moms, do hereby proclaim Wednesday, September the 6th, 2023, Childhood Awareness Day. So thank you so much for coming, and thank y'all for all you do. Is Dawn still involved? And
She is. She just
Okay.
wasn't able to make it
well, you
tonight.
tell Miss Birdsong.
I will,
We said hello.
definitely will. And we just want to thank y'all so much. This is just September as we go into the schools after President Rick started doing the proclamation for us. That gave us an opportunity that we spent that entire week in the schools. We read a story about food insecurity to the elementary children, and we give them an opportunity to really understand, being on both sides of it. But we just wanted to thank y'all so much that we have had such support from the council, from all the people that we ever come in contact with. I feel like that we are definitely a community that cares, and I am proud to live in Livingston Parish. And we are feeding the future leaders of Livingston Parish. I just don't want us to ever forget that when we really get to love on and feed our children, those are the ones that are going to one day be sitting there like y'all are. So thank y'all so much for the proclamation, and thank y'all for your support for all these years.
Thank you.
And I'd like to say thank you for helping nurture and take care of Mr. Bedwell also. He's such an asset to this community.
Our handful, which
Thank you so much, Patrick, for all you do. Let's see, item 10 on the parish president's report. Again, I spoke to Mr. Ricks about this. This is a resolution giving authority to the Livingston Parish president to sign the West Coyell Bridge Placement DOTD arrangement. We have already approved this as an MPO project with an 80-20 match. We've already voted on this at the council. What they're doing is they're removing a timber bridge and replacing it with concrete. But what has happened, I think when it was passed in June, the question was that they didn't have this H number. So this would be for the agreement for project number SPN H015355. Chad Bach has asked that we make sure that's on there. Motion by Mr. King.
Second.
Second by Mr. Mack. Any discussion? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
All right, and if it pops up on the, all right, go ahead and vote it on your machine. If
I'm
y'all
on number
would.
10.
Pardon?
I'm on number 10. Parish President's report.
Okay.
That is the parish
That was parish
Plus.
president's.
E?
Okay.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna go, you mean go to 11, Sandy, or you mean hold up till we get caught up? Passed by majority.
11 to the grant.
Going to 11, you ready? Livingston Parish Grants Department, introduction of an ordinance to acquire immovable property pursuant to the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program. Project number FEMA-4277-DR-LA-0131, Livingston Parish, address 8800 Evening Shadow Drive, Denham Springs. So tonight, no, this is actually in Ms. Sandifer's district, but it needs to be read by title. So Ms. Sandy, would you read by title,
Shadow
please?
Springs.
This will be proposed ordinance 23-31. It's an ordinance to acquire movable property for the parish of Livingston pursuant to the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program, project number FEMA-4277-DR-LA-0131, Livingston Parish. It's for homeowner Brandy Gotro, addressed at 8800 Evening Shadow Drive, Denham Springs.
I talked to Mark Harrell, and he's reaching out to Ms. Sandifer. That's a specific piece of property at Shadow Springs. It's in the Aaron's district, so the parish is already taking care of it with Mark. They just want to make it a motion by Mr. Ard.
Second.
Public hearing will be September 14th at 6 p.m.
Public hearing September 14th at 6 p.m., and that will be for the adoption of the ordinance, is correct. Motion by Mr. Ard. Second by Mr. Garlinghouse. Any discussion? All in favor say yes.
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 All right, thank you so much, Scooter, Jeff, for that. Item 12, Livingston Parish Planning Commission, this is a Blind River Bar. It's a waiver that Mr. Delat had, I believe, it's in his district, so I don't know that he's here today, but I think this went through the Planning Commission, and they looked at it. I believe they requested the waiver for some setbacks for Blind River Bar. Is anyone here to speak for or against this specific?
I'm for it.
Okay, okay. Well, look, I mean, I was down there for this bash you had, and you had to swim across the diversion. There was so many boats. I'm so excited for this. I think it's going to be a great thing for the community, and I'm just really excited for your hard work that you've put in down there.
No, thank you. And look, when we met with the Planning and Zoning Commission, this has been an awesome project to work on. Livingston's been great to work. It's one of the few projects I've ever done where everybody's been in support. So it's been pretty cool. One little thing we told them that we haven't advertised, but we've met with Acadian Ambulance and stuff by putting a helipad out there. We met with Wildlife and Fisheries. I met with Mr. Layton about a year ago when we first bought the property, and I met with I've been Homeland Security guy. Anybody will put their helicopter down there. Sounds like Acadian kind of has the tightest standard. So if Acadian will land there, then anybody will land there. Matter of fact, while we were setting up for the bash the other day, the East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office landed out there just to check, see what was going on, because they heard that we were going to be their pilot. I think kind of co-ops back and forth with Acadian. So that's something neat we'll do out there. But it's we're bringing back that place that we all grew up with. It's going to be kid friendly. We'll have a splash pad out there, a playground for the kids. So it's
Hey, give us your name and address, please.
sorry, I'm Dustin Kluwat, and I'm from
Address.
Address 11080 Johnny May Road, Gonzales, Louisiana.
Okay.
So I live in Santa Monica. Got
That's
a Gonzales
fine. You know
address.
what?
But yeah.
That's all right.
From Ascension Parish.
But thank you for all
So-
you're doing at the Blind River Bar. It's exciting. I
No,
thoroughly
thank y'all
enjoy
for coming out there. That was a great weekend. That kind of showed us. Mr. Ard, he came out. He had the hottest item. He had fans. So he was handing out fans. So once we get air conditioning out there, it's gonna be awesome.
Well, politicians have fans follow them everywhere. So
John.
thank you.
Yeah, thank y'all.
so much. So is there a motion?
Yeah, I'm a,
Hey, your setback is from the river. You trying to get the setback from the river bank?
Yes, sir.
1, 2, 3,
This
4.
guy, my architect, can probably answer these technical questions a little bit more. So technically, the property line, you want to come up here,
Yeah,
Matthew?
I know about the property. I helped build the first one.
I was going to say,
Anyway, I just wonder if it's going to be from the river bank?
So Matthew Landry, Didier Architecture. We're basically putting this bar back where it was, essentially in the same kind of footprint. And so the property line and the riverbank, we have there's a certain setback requirement, and because it's sort of considered a corner lot, because it's right on the corner of two right-of-ways, because the rivers are considered right-of-ways, we have setbacks on both sides. And so I want to say it's the north side, it's close to a 20-foot setback, a 20-foot variance that we're asking for, and then an 8-foot on the east side.
So only thing that concerns me about the east side is the scenic value. So have we went through the Louisiana Wildlife Fisheries with this? I'm asking the question because, you know, that's state law with
Right.
wildlife and fisheries being a scenic river. So on that side, the east side, so
The Amite River side?
that's going to be the
I mean,
Blind River.
I'm sorry, Blind
Blind
River
River
side?
side, yeah.
I think if
No,
it's not
not-
infringing on the river, it wouldn't,
Yeah.
Right,
you might ought to check that though.
right.
Got no problem.
I don't mind giving it to you, but I want to make sure we didn't waste your time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I want to make sure you guys head the right direction with that, all right?
We're actually,
speak-
on the east side, we're further than it was before it burnt. Because we're now set at if you were out there, we're facing towards the point, which if you're
Right.
familiar with it, you're kind of, if you're sitting at the bar and turn directly around, you're looking straight down Blind River towards the
Yes.
lake. So on the east side, which would be the Blind River side, where Mr. Jacko and all of them were, the building is actually further away from from there than it's ever been.
Yeah, I think we all fine with that. I just want to
Yes.
make sure we help you guys out.
question.
Just gotta make sure
Thank you,
did that.
thank you.
Mr. Mack had a question.
No, it wasn't a question, just a real quick statement to help Gerald out. If we voted to approve the waiver, they would still have to meet whatever state laws apply. So our waiver wouldn't override their requirement to meet the state law, so.
I think I understand that, Mr. Mack.
Just check it. That's what it's saying. Just check it so you don't get in the bind.
Motion to authorize?
Mr.
Good.
Speaker King.
Motion by Mr. King. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Girlinghouse.
Before I vote, are we going to bring back the car radio?
Oh, the Gull Rodeo will be the first weekend in August, like it's always
Yes.
been. You can only fish the lake, too.
Yes.
You know, you don't need to go into Venice. You only fish the lake, so.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. King, second by Mr. Girlinghouse. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations.
See y'all
Thank you.
tomorrow.
We'll see you at the river. Thank y'all so much. Item B, this was a servitude revocation introduction ordinance. So we'll probably need to read this by title. Is that correct, Sandy? And this is Mr. Anthony Fiducio.
Charles Fiducia, I'm his father. He was not able to make it tonight, so.
Okay, well,
Do you have all the data on this?
Mr. Charles, give us 1 second. We're going to read this by title. Yeah, we've,
12, okay.
I think we looked at this last week, didn't we?
No.
It was in the packet then. I saw it. Go ahead and just
Yeah,
read by
this is
title.
The proposed ordinance 23-32. It's an ordinance revoking the dedication, abandoning, and quitclaim in favor of the landowner, Anthony G. Fiducia, a 40-foot all-purpose access and utility servitude across certain tracts of land known as Lot AF9, Lot AF10, Lot AF11, Lot AF13G, Lot AF13F, Lot AF13E, Lot AF13B, Lot AF14A, Lot AF14B, and Lot AF14C. Section Township 7, South Range 3 East, Greensburg Land District, Parish of Livingston, State of Louisiana. The public hearing will be held on September the 14th at 6 p.m.
All right, and this is in Mr. McMorris's district, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's got to go before a public hearing?
Yeah, but because it actually has to be done by ordinance to give the servitude back. So it has to be done by ordinance.
Owns all the property.
It's just
So-
law. Gotta go with the law.
Yeah, but we're giving the servitude back, or so.
Understand
Yeah.
fully.
So is that a motion to?
Yeah, motion.
Motion by Mr. McMorris, second by Mr. King. Any discussion? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Mr. Charles, it's passed. Did you have something else you want to comment?
Well, the servitude access 3 lots, AF 9, 10, and 11, which is, he's going to combine those 3 to make 1, which is off of a different servitude there. So they were getting the access from the servitude that's being revoked right now. But since these lots are being combined and accessed off a different servitude, I didn't know if they need, it would increase the lot count on that servitude to 6.
And this went through the planning commission, didn't it?
Yeah,
And it was approved.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
I wouldn't worry about that.
okay.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah,
Yeah, so,
wasn't going to be a problem.
so Anthony's okay with it, so.
Well, and if they had caught it in planning, it'd have been a problem too. So if you need some more help, Mr. Charles, let me know.
All right, thank you.
One little thing.
Yes.
We maybe 2, 3, 4 years back, we adopted an ordinance that sets out the criteria for quitclaims and servitude revocations, and planning will not send us anything until everything's been done.
So it had to approve planning commission or it would not be here today. Thank you so much. Item C is a public hearing from Martin Funeral Home. This is in, I believe, Randy's district. Is anyone here to speak for or against that? Mr. Thomas Johnson, would you please come up, state your name and address, and tell us what's going on at Mr.
Thomas Johnson with Dalvin Fairburn Associates. We're just asking for a fence waiver because the owner of the funeral home is also the next door neighbor, the adjacent property, and she just doesn't want to put a fence up between her and the.
It's a brother.
It's a brother?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they just don't want to put a fence up between the funeral home and their residence.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. McMorris, second by Mr. King. Any discussion? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Thank y'all. Appreciate
Any
it.
opposed? That motion carries. Go ahead and vote on your computer then. All right. Item 13, adopt a resolution to add roads for consideration to the priority road list requested by Parish Road Engineer. These are two roads, Audubon Avenue, located in Plantation Garden, and Terra Drive, located in Plantation Garden Homes. And both of these are in Ms. Sandifer's district, in District 5. Mr. Taylor.
Yes, sir. Billy Taylor and Macklin Taylor. Also, Ms. Sandifer couldn't be here tonight, but she asked to add 2 additional roads in addition to the ones that are on there. The names of those roads are Plantation Lake Avenue and Quiet Creek Drive, and we'd like to add those as well.
All right, you got those? Tell me when you get those, Ms. Sandy.
Quiet Creek Drive.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Tracy Girlinghouse.
Second.
Second by Mr. Jeff Ard. Any discussion? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? That motion carries. All right, thank you, Billy. I appreciate it. Item 14, public hearing and adoption of LP ordinance 2030. This is adopting a parish-wide moratorium prohibiting the submittal of any application for a preliminary plat for a subdivision with improvements for a period of 120 days. This ordinance was worked on, I believe, and put together by Mr. Jeff Ard. Am I correct on that one?
I didn't put it together. Mr. Villabasso put it
Okay.
together.
I think you introduced it.
I just introduced it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'd like to actually call up and declare a public hearing for this particular ordinance. It was introduced at the last council meeting, so tonight is the public hearing. Is anyone here to speak for or against this 120-day moratorium? All right. With no one here to speak for or against, I'll close the public hearing. And is there a motion to adopt? Let's read it by title.
Yeah.
This is
And we do have a
proposed-
few changes we need to talk about.
This is proposed ordinance 23-30. It's an ordinance to adopt a parish-wide moratorium prohibiting the submittal, which will be changed, of any applications for preliminary plat for a subdivision with improvements. We changed to a subdivision without improvements and multifamily developments for a period of 120 days, which we changed to 100. Bill the adoption of an updated zoning ordinance, whichever occurs.
All right. So you want to make some changes to it now?
Yeah, so in the ordinance committee meeting, we talked about it. The 120 days won't get us into the next year for the next council, so we want to move that to 160 days. And on the submittals, it was stage 1 preliminary meeting. And we're going to do subdivisions without improvements and multifamily developments will be added. Is that right, Shane? Ain't that how we said it? Yep.
That's right. And I wasn't paying attention. You did say the 160 days.
160.
So can we just adopt that amended, Brad?
And effected upon adoption.
I think we have to.
Or do we need to?
We got to amend it and then
So
adopt it.
let's go back to a motion to make the amendments. And you got those 2 changes?
Motion to amend.
Yeah, we have it. It's all in blue right here.
Motion by Mr. Girlinghouse to amend it for the 100 to 160 days and
Stage 1.
Stage
Stage
one.
1 preliminary meeting, and we're adding subdivision without improvements and multifamily development.
adding subdivision without improvements and
So that was in.
Multifamily.
in the one
multifamily.
you had too, right?
All right?
What's your reason behind that? Yeah, let's,
Y'all asking me a question?
whoever.
Okay, so in the ordinance meeting the other night, Gary and actually Mr. Billy Taylor had proposed that we change it from submittal to stage 1 preliminary meetings.
Has to
So-
change it to that?
They asked to change it to that. That's
So
correct.
preliminary one means what? Oh, I'm
Well,
sorry,
that's,
John.
They
that's,
have to go in and have their meeting with planning.
right. So part of
what
the
they're gonna
process to, I guess you could say, develop a piece of property is, from what I understand, that's the first step of the process, is to have a stage one preliminary meeting with the planning director and the planning department. And so basically, my interpretation of the way it's worded with the amendment is that if you have not had the stage one preliminary meeting, then
You can't submit,
you
you're on your
won't, you
moratorium.
won't be able to have,
Right.
move forward with your development until after the moratorium is lifted.
And the way it was worded, I believe, it just said submittal, so you could say, hey, I submitted it, but you hadn't had your meeting. So this way, you can't just say, I submitted it. You actually have to meet with planning, have
That's right.
met, and then.
You're not going to be able to schedule that stage one preliminary meeting, so you're not going to be able to develop it if you haven't done that
Well,
already.
it's lifted.
That's right.
Did you get the motion in a second?
I got a motion from Mr. Greenhouse.
And a second by Mr. Ard to make the amendments for those two items.
So,
One second, let me make sure we get a motion in a second. All right, did you have any discussion on that on the amendments for that? Yes, Miss, who's whistling?
Oh, we went back to public comment?
Yeah.
Since we amended, because I had a comment about the amendment. Sarah Ferris, 19241 Plantation Trace. Didn't the previous moratorium get vetoed over multifamily?
Yep.
And so why are we putting multifamily back in it?
Because we have a way to approve multifamily even with it in there.
What's the difference in this one versus the previous one
The
that's
other one
going to get
didn't
it
have the
approved?
backdoor approach to it. That's
Didn't have,
why
I couldn't hear you, didn't have a.
Mr. Villavasso put it in there to where if a project came through that was multifamily that we need to approve, we can. They could come to this council and we can approve it. The way it was written the other way, we could not do that. We completely shut it down. So it just gives a backdoor approach to it, to do it,
What is that backdoor approach is what I'm asking.
that they can basically come to us and ask for a waiver.
So do you need waiver and multifamily? Is it written that they can come ask for a waiver from the moratorium and also that we're including multifamily? I guess I don't understand why we need both. If you've got the permissive in there that a waiver can be granted, why do we also have multifamily? Because I think we're all at the point where y'all don't want to deal with the veto and all that again either, and none of us do.
Let me ask you a
So
question.
that's my concern, is that we're setting it up for another veto.
Would you want multifamily in there?
I would love that, yeah,
So
but
it's
if
in
we
there.
know that's going to get vetoed again,
Well, it's
that's my
not gonna get
concern.
It's not being vetoed. It's
It's
being signed tomorrow
It's going to be signed tonight.
Well, tonight, yeah, it's being signed
This
tonight.
moratorium will be signed tonight.
That's all I wanted to
Okay,
ask.
all right. Mr. Clemens, come up and give us your name and address.
Brian Clemens, 34332 Robbie Lee. I'm concerned with the amendment, changing it to the meeting instead of being actually the submittal. What that'll do is it'll open up that window just a little bit farther.
It closes it more.
Yeah.
It closes
Won't nothing be submitted after we sign it tonight.
If they, well, there's a time frame it has to happen. You have to have a meeting first, and then you have to make your submittal, right? So they might have time to get that meeting in and not a meeting and a submittal.
We got in here effective upon adoption. So as soon as we adopt this, it's done.
Tonight.
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 It's done.
Tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Who got, who?
We had a motion, I think, by Mr. Greenhouse, second by Mr. Ard, wasn't it, for the amendment?
The button ain't working.
For the amendment.
Hey, his button ain't
My
working to
button
speak.
is working.
You over there in Gary's seat. Why you in Gary's?
That's probably the
I told him
problem.
don't do it. He moved his chair, so it wouldn't be the same.
Gary's request to speak button is permanently turned off.
I like that.
Let's go ahead and call for the.
Let
No, I
you
got
boy
a
talk.
question.
That's what he's trying to do is talk. Yeah,
How do we know he's not going to veto this?
Because he told me he would.
he's not.
He's not. If he does, then I can't help it.
We'll come back if he does. I
He
mean,
didn't
I
tell
don't,
us that
he's not,
last
I'm telling you, I talked to him, he said he's not gonna, I mean, Jeff, you talked to
I
him.
talked to him. He's
We all
told me he's
talked to
not.
He's not
vetoed.
gonna veto this one.
He's not gonna
So-
veto it.
So, I mean, we'll see.
That's all you can do.
All in favor say yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Is there any opposed? No, okay, that
That's for
motion.
the amendment.
That's for the amendment, and now we need a motion to adopt it as amended, that particular ordinance that was read by
Make a
title.
motion to adopt it as
Motion by
amended.
Mr. Jeff Ard to adopt as amended, second by Mr. Girlinghouse for the final adoption of the moratorium. All in favor say yes?
Yes.
Any opposed? That motion carries. All right. Thank y'all so much. Let's go in here with item 15, a public hearing for the ratification of LP ordinance number 2325, an ordinance amending Chapter 125 subdivision regulations, Article 3, minor subdivision, Section 125-37, amending the width for servitudes upon the re-subdivision of property from 60 feet to 40 feet, previously adopted on July 13th, 2023. I think Shane and Jeff both worked on this in the ordinance committee. Is that correct?
We did.
Yes, and I think this was just because we didn't open and close it the last time, so that's all we really have to do. is
That's from a
just-
few meetings
Yeah,
ago.
we just gotta open it.
I hereby declare a public hearing open. Does anyone want to speak for or against this particular ordinance, which re-subdivision of property from 60 feet to 40 feet? None? I'll close the public hearing. Is there a motion?
I think we already voted, huh?
I think we have to vote again.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
ratify it.
We need to vote again? All right, I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Ard, second by Mr. Mack. Ms. Sandy, I want you to call for the vote on this one, please.
Who's gonna vote no?
He does it every time.
It's
He's staying with what he's done every time, so they're calling it.
whenever y'all ready. I mean,
It's not letting us make the motion.
Okay, so this, just to be clear, because I voted no on this last time, but it was passed anyway. Is that,
I voted no on it.
so,
I thought you voted yes.
no, I voted no on this. But, I mean, it was passed by the council.
Yeah, it was passed, we just didn't
We didn't open and close
the
the
hearing.
public hearing.
Okay, all right.
That's all it was, we just didn't open and
We
close
got
the hearing.
excited that night.
Yeah.
It's like this, we get waivers every week for the 40-foot servitudes. I mean,
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
60 feet.
Yeah.
Come on, I mean,
Yeah.
You clergymen
You
people.
want to call for the vote? I want you to call for the vote on this one, please.
Mr. Girlinghouse?
Yes.
Mr. Wascom?
No.
Mr. Ard?
Yes.
Mr. Talbert's absent. Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. McMorris?
yes.
Mr. Mack?
Yes.
And Ms. Sandifer and Mr. Delotter absent.
All right, item 16, adopt a resolution to authorize a waiver, section 125-37, requirements for minor subdivision to allow the division of property within 24 months located on Lauren Wall Road off Highway 42, 42 Track 9 through 12 at Council District 8. This was Randy. He sent a text today requesting for this waiver for that.
I'm going to motion.
Motion by Mr.
15 or?
16. Motion by Mr. McMorris.
Second.
Second by Mr. Girlinghouse.
16.
Any discussion?
No.
All in favor say yes.
Yes.
All right. Go ahead and vote on your iPads. And let's see, that motion, who we waiting on? I got him, all right. Item 17, adopt a resolution to grant a request for an extension of the previously adopted preliminary plat for Mariners Cove subdivision first and second filings located on Highway 22. This is again the same thing. I talked to Randy today. He wasn't here tonight, but Mr. McMorris, would you?
Yeah,
Oh, is everyone here to speak for this, or?
he's here, but I really don't think he needs to.
Okay.
Because, look, they already had it. The time ran out.
You okay if we don't let you talk, we just
I'm
do
just
it?
going to let y'all know that
I'm Mike Montoya, I'm project engineer, Montoya Design Group. I'm just here to answer any questions that you guys might have about it, so.
All right, I don't have any. You good? Motion by Mr.,
it was already passed. We're
Okay.
just going to give it to them.
Yeah, we're just giving a little extension.
Yes.
motion by Mr. McMorris, second by Mr. Mack. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
All right, any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you, sir. Item 18, adopt a resolution to authorize a waiver of section 125, 37.3 and section 125, 126C of the Code of Ordinances of Livingston Parish that will allow the number of lots on a minor subdivision for one additional lot, this totaling 8 lots. This is in Mr. Scooter Keen's districts for Joshua Seals. Scooter, you want to talk about this one?
I think Seth wants to come up and speak about it. It's right down the road from my house, and I don't see a problem with it at all.
Seth Mosby, BEI Surveying. I'm working for the potential buyers. This is almost across the street from Mr. Scooter's house. Piece of property has been for sale for some time. It's been cleared, been being bush hogged. These guys want to come in and build 8 homes, not trailers, houses. So to do that, the servitude was best to go down the middle, and 7 lots would make you have to put a jog in the road.
Sure.
So they want to get that one extra lot, nice straight road.
Pretty good sized lots too. I think the
Yeah.
smallest one's
And is this one Wyatt's? Did Wyatt call me about this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, he's involved with
If I
it?
knew it was
Yeah.
Wyatt's. No, I'm kidding.
And he says 2-acre lots for houses, or acre lot, or,
Well, some of them.
No, there's some of them
have-
that's 3/4 of an acre.
Okay.
The smallest one is still about 4/10 of an acre.
okay.
And it's on that corner on the north end, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr.
Yeah.
King,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Girlinghouse.
Wait, 1 second. So we had two waivers on this, right?
Correct, for the
And the other
one
one's on
extra
the
lot.
Wetlands letter.
Well, it would just be, they're both together.
They're both together, and I think it's no big deal on that either.
Got a motion and a second, I believe?
They gotta do by
Motion.
what the
Is there any
wetlands
discussion
people
on this
say,
particular
so.
waiver?
Right.
None being, all in favor
Thank
say
you.
yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? That motion carried. Adopts a resolution to authorize a waiver of section 125 and 176 definitions to subdivide after a second mobile home, and also approve the issuance of a 4th address located at 13995 Vincent Place Avenue, Denham Springs, Louisiana, 70726, being 2-acre tracts and 3 mobile homes for Joshua McIntyre, District 6. Mr. McMorris.
Yes, I'm gonna make the motion to do this. It's a 19-year-old kid trying to move back home to his mom to take care of her with the other brothers and sisters, so made the motion.
Motion by Mr. McMorris, seconded by Mr. Jeff Ard. Any discussion on this particular waiver? I think that's what good government does. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Item 20, adopt a resolution authorizing waiver allowing the minor resub of lot HM2A and HM2B located off of Junior Macklin Road into HM2A1 and HM2A3. Considered non-conforming until zoning classifications are established parish-wide. This is in Mr. Ard's district.
Yeah, and I'm good with it, so I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Ard, second by Mr. King. Is there any discussion? Come on up. Give us your name and address.
Jeremy Glasscock, 29960 Marsh Drive. I got more questions. You got 3 lots or 4 lots he subdivided into?
Oh, it should be 3 lots.
Well, the sign says 4 lots.
That, say 4?
Yeah. So you got
Well-
agriculture and you're knocking it down to almost half an acre.
Well,
And you know where this is going.
you know, I've done said, we're not going by that right now, so.
So why ain't my waiver on here for my R1? It's gonna be 3/4 of an acre
I
instead.
told you to go get it. All you gotta do is go tell them to give it to you.
I've submitted it to planning in November of last year. I submitted
They
it to
gotta
planning 2
bring it
weeks
to us.
ago.
Yeah.
I did bring it to them. The surveyor emailed it once, I brought it to him once. So
I mean,
what's
I
the
don't have a
difference in
problem with
4
it.
lots?
But if it says 4 lots and it's supposed to be 3, then they have a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I want y'all to give them the waiver, I do. That's the best result for my case.
I get it, yeah.
That would be my best interest, and I thank you for putting it on the
It
agenda.
kind of makes no
yeah,
difference.
it's 3.
Thank you, man.
Motion?
Yeah.
Motion by Mr. Ard, second by Mr. King.
I mean, I'm gonna check on that sign if it's wrong. They're gonna have to redo the
He
sign.
got a picture of it. Do you want him?
If the sign's wrong, he's gonna have to redo it.
No, I want you to redo the man's property, because I know how it feels to be told for 10 months.
Yeah, does it matter to you if it says 3 or 4? I mean, the people.
It don't really matter to me.
And a second.
Yeah. Yeah, they all own all that property.
All in favor say yes.
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 Any opposed? That motion carries. Mr. Glasscock, thank you for
Get
your
your
insight
stuff to
there.
us, so in 2 weeks, we can fix yours.
Adopt a resolution authorizing waiver section 12551E subdivisions without improvements to subdivide in a named subdivision being named the North Chapel Estates subdivision, allowing the creation of lots 15A and 15A2 in section 34 of Township SRE R6E east of St. Helena. This is in Mr. Mack's district.
Yeah, I'm trying to make this fast. So thank you, John, for letting me have the floor. So from what I understand, Ms. Carla Foster wants to build a house on this property, and the bank won't let her unless she makes this subdivide. So I'm asking for a waiver. so
Motion
she
by
can-
Mr. Mack, second by
right.
Mr. King. Is there any discussion in
Thank you.
this? None being, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? I think it's going to pass unanimous. Let's flip over real quick. Oh, there was a one abstain?
Yeah, abstain.
Okay. Mr. Girlinghouse abstained, so just for the record there.
Well, I mean, I had a few questions, but I knew I was going to get it anyway, so.
Okay, well, if you
know.
want to bring it back, we can. Let's flip over to the addendums real quick. Addendum A1 is discussion of a complaint of tire material being dumped at the end of Dirt Road in Watson. Follow up with DEQ to ensure all permits are issued and state rules are being followed, along with a request asking how long the operation will be going on. Scooter, you need some help?
Yeah, no, we seeing who's taking it. 'Cause
Okay,
He was gonna handle it.
this was actually requested by Mr. Delat. I think it's in Mr. Talbert's district. Is anyone here to speak for or against, to have anything discussion regarding this shredding of tires? It's my understanding what this is, they've taken tires, they've had them shredded, and they're bringing them, stockpile them in the area to create a shoring, a bank stabilization from old tires instead of polluting landfills. And DEQ has actually came out or actually issued a permit for this. So I think what Randy's asking for is a resolution to just ask DEQ to, anytime they permit something of this
Nature.
thank you,
All right.
in Livingston Parish, to send a letter to the Livingston Parish Council so we can be aware of it. Would y'all be okay with the resolution?
Yes, I'll make that.
Motion by Mr. Girlinghouse, second by Mr. Ard. Any discussion on that? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
All right. Any opposed? I believe that motion carries. And let's go to A2. This is an introduction. It's an ordinance to provide for the extension of the temporary 12-month moratorium being Livingston Parish Ordinance Number 22-45. This was adopted in September 8th, 2022 in regard to the construction and drilling of Class 6 injection wells for wells specifically used for geological sequestration of carbon dioxide in the parish of Livingston. I believe Mr. Mack had put this together.
I did.
And what it was, the moratorium is expiring real quick, and I think we want to just get it extended for 120 days, or you will make it 160? Or
No, it's 120.
120, okay. So that's what you want to do?
That's what I want to do. You know, the intent here was to pass a moratorium and then write an ordinance and then pass an ordinance. We still need to work on the ordinance, so we need to extend the moratorium so that the moratorium is still in place for Class 6 wells.
For the new
until
council?
Well, no, it'll be done before the end of the year.
Before then, okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
So
I thought we passed that for a year. What was the date on that, Ms. Sandy?
It was September the 8th, 2022,
Is
Gerald.
when it
I ain't working either,
expires.
John.
Did you have something to say, Mr. King?
Yeah, I was just, so we're gonna introduce an ordinance that's not even written.
No.
You know what you're ready.
No.
You said you were
No,
gonna,
no.
during the,
The ordinance is written.
oh,
And it needs to have modifications made to it. We went over it in the ordinance committee earlier.
okay.
And,
All we're doing is
and we
extending the
decided
moratorium.
to hold off on the introduction of the ordinance and extend the moratorium until the ordinance is finalized.
So
right?
basically, what we need is a resolution.
We waiting
No,
on
no,
some
we need to- we need to
some state
introduce this-
requirements to get passed too in the legislature before we can finish that, finalize that ordinance?
We don't have to wait.
We can just do it and hope that it
We
passes?
agreed that we would work on it some more over the next 4 months.
that's fine.
This is an introduction to an ordinance to extend the
You
moratorium.
want to read by title, Ms. Sandy?
That's what needs to
2
happen.
weeks.
This will be proposed ordinance,
They threw that one out.
Scooter.
is to provide for the extension of the temporary 12-month moratorium being Livingston Parish Ordinance Number 22-45, adopted September 8th, 2022, in regard to the construction and drilling of Class 6 injection wells for wells specifically used for geologic sequestration, I never say it right, sequestration.
We got you,
Carbon
yeah.
dioxide in the parish of Livingston, including all waterways within the parish of Livingston. Said extension shall be for 120 days, and the public hearing for this will be on September the 14th and 16th.
Thank you so much. So that was the introduction. The public hearing will be next council meeting, Ms. Sandy? 3 weeks, okay.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Girlinghouse, seconded by Mr. Mack. Any discussion? And, Ms. DeYoung, give us your name and address in case I got that wrong.
05 MacArthur Drive, Livingston, Louisiana. I have a question about that. Last time that we came, it was on the Class 5, or last time I was here, it was on the Class 5 wells, and y'all tried to put the moratorium, and it was thrown out in court, right? Because of eminent domain.
That's correct.
Eminent domain, right?
Yes.
So at what point is eminent domain by our federal government being abused? We had talked about, I think y'all talked about doing more research on it. We needed to know more about it. I've got a few articles here. Fracking could lead to an earthquake domino effect. These are the fault lines down here, you know? And if there's a leak, there was one in Mississippi last year where floodwaters damaged a pipe. Thank goodness it wasn't a populated area, but for a 50-mile radius, methane was spewing out. People die instantly from that. So at what point are they abusing eminent domain for us? Because it's supposed to be for the public's benefit. This is very dangerous. I've got all kinds of articles that are recent articles. In fact, in June, 150 climate and advocacy groups are asking Biden to stop all new carbon pipelines because of the dangers to it. And we have, I don't know where else in the world other than California has as many fault lines as we do in the boot. And you set one of those off, it's going to have a domino effect.
Well, I think the moratorium.
But they're winning in court over eminent domain. I mean, at what point are they
But this is-
abusing it?
But not on Class 6. That was a Class 5.
The Class 5 does the same thing.
Yeah, but this introduction is for Class 6 only. So, I mean, it's to.
Yeah, it's the moratorium that prohibits it until we
Yeah.
can write some
So
type.
what happens when they win in court again?
Carla, you know, I mean.
Is there
we're
not a way to have somebody dive deep into the abuse of eminent domain when we have this many fault lines down here? We're just being an experiment. We're gonna be an experiment. I'd like to know what other state has this many fault lines in it like we do. You know, I would like to see it researched. Somebody get into it because it's very dangerous. There's article after article about how dangerous this is.
I can help you a little bit there.
Mr. Mack.
My thought is, when you start to talk about eminent domain, you're talking about the pipelines, not the wells. But we're going to continue to look into the pipelines and the hazards associated with the pipelines and do research on eminent domain and state laws. The eminent domain laws, to me, are handled on the state level, and we'll go to town working on that as soon as we're allowed to.
In
on the state
09,
level.
they included carbon sequestration in eminent domain.
They did, right? So it's a matter of gaining support on a state level to modify the state law when it comes to eminent domain. So we're gonna work on
Get
that.
that done so we can all vote on it? If everybody knew how dangerous this is for this area, it might not be dangerous for other areas, but we have fault lines everywhere,
That's right.
so.
I want to say this. We wrote an ordinance and we talked about introducing it. We decided to hold off and work on it some more. If you'd like, you could get a copy of that and read that. I think it provides a lot of protection for the people of Livingston Parish. And you might have some feedback on that ordinance. We're going to be discussing that ordinance soon, before the end of the year. But that,
Ms. Carla, so we had a motion, I believe, was there a motion by Tracy, seconded by Shane for the, Mr. Gerald, did you have something to say?
Yeah, so only thing I can hope for is we get a guy in there to go rally some people up to get us votes to vote it out of here, right?
we're going to work on that.
Yeah, so it's going to take people like you, if you get in there, Shane, to make sure this happens.
That's right.
Because the other 4 people didn't help us.
Okay, we had a motion and a second to introduce the ordinance. It's been read by title. So when will the public hearing be?
September 14th at 6 p.m.
Right here in the council chamber's office. All right, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
Is there any opposed? That motion carries. Under the ordinance committee is the introduction of ordinance, but are we going to pull that, Shane, since we're doing the moratorium and let it pick it up at the ordinance committee?
Yeah, that was a mistake.
Yeah, I thought it
We
was.
decided not to introduce that ordinance.
The next item is 23 District Attorney Report.
Nothing to report this evening. Thank y'all for being here, though, so we can handle business tonight. Appreciate y'all coming.
Thank you.
All right, next item is a motion to adjourn, but I would like to open it up for public comments. Mr. Lobel, did you have something positive and expiring you'd like to give the audience, or are you good? You always got words of wisdom, so I just didn't want you to somehow escape us.
G-Boy got something.
Mr. G-Boy.
I'm gonna bring this up every meeting. So we have our thing coming up at Frank Summit High School. It's an expo. If you guys can come, we would sure appreciate it. I mean, support the community and the families and the kids. If you want to hear a good motivation speaker, this guy's the best motivation speaker. So I ask everybody to come. Everything's gonna be free, food. Come out, get you some fried catfish, jambalaya, pasta, it's all free.
Catfish.
600 pounds.
Didn't come out of the
Ready to
lake, did it?
I'm out there.
Oh, we can still eat it right now.
One last thing before we motion for adjourn, I would like to say, I'd like to welcome Mr. McHugh David. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the editor and publisher of the Livingston Parish News right here with us. Thank you so much. Motion to adjourn
Motion.
We didn't have a single argument up here
by
tonight.
Mr. Garlinghouse, seconded by Mr. Ard. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
That motion carries. Any opposed?
Nope.
All right.
Has anybody ever opposed adjourning?
Oh, man.